Hi guys, it's Beth from Bourbon Creek Crafts here today, and I am using the Teresa Talks Fall stamp set along with the Neutrals #1 paper collection, and I'm going to be making a Slimline card today that plays along with the Scrapping for Less card challenge #8, and that is also the sketch I am using. And this is the card challenge that they have up on their Facebook group, the Show and Share group for the month of October 2020. So I stamped out the image of the coffee cup and the pumpkin and leaves, and I'm just coloring it up. I try to keep the cup itself pretty neutral other than adding a pop of navy here on the sleeve, and then I'm focusing on the oranges and browns in the pumpkin and the leaves that are surrounding the cup. And I do apologize for my voice today. I'm trying to get over a cold, so hopefully you guys can understand me well enough as I speak through my process here. So once I'm done with coloring, I took it over to my Big Shot and used a stitch circle die to cut out the image, and it is about a 2 3/4 inch circle. And then I have my card base, which is white cardstock that was cut down to 7 by 8.5 inches, and then I fold it in half. So the card base itself is like 3.5 by 8.5 inches. And then I have a navy cardstock panel that goes across the front of my card that is 8 1/4 by 3 1/4, yeah. And then I used the pattern paper that I had pulled out and cut it in half, so it's 3-inch strips. And I'm trying to figure out like what I needed to cut it down to so that it will go across my card and look like one seamless strip of cardstock or a pattern paper. And so I finally figured out what I needed to add to the 1/6-inch strip. And so it ends up, once I get it down on my card, it ends up being another panel, a pattern paper panel that is 3 inches by 8 inches long. And so once I cut a navy circle, I die cut a navy circle as well into a 3-inch circle. And so I knew that where the two pieces of pattern papers meet up, that seam there, I knew that would be covered by my circle. And so I was just trying to kind of make sure that the rest of the paper was spaced correctly on the navy card mat so that it looked like one continuous panel. And the card sketch calls for a strip to go across the bottom there, and so I decided to pull in some orange just to go with the oranges that are in the image that I colored. And then I pulled the stamp set back out, and I'm using the Happy Pumpkin Spice Season sentiment. And I did end up having to stamp it 3 times just because I couldn't stamp straight for some reason. So finally the 3rd time is the charm, and I'm able to get it straight, and we'll trim that down. And so I'm going to cut it into a little fishtail banner, a double fishtail banner. And then that will also go on the front of my card. And the card sketch does give you measurements for like most of the pieces on the card. So the sketch makes it very easy to recreate this card. I am going to be layering it on top of the orange stripe there. So now that I kind of have everything figured out where I want to lay it, I can go ahead and start adhering things to my card. My strip, it's about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide, and I'm going to make it go the whole length of that panel there. So I just left it, the length that it was, and once I lay it down, once I adhere it to my card, I'll trim off that end there on the right. And so once I put my circle on the card, you won't see that seam there at all. So it's just going to look like one continuous piece of patterned paper. And I know that the pattern doesn't line up exactly, but because of the circle, you kind of don't really notice that. You don't see a whole lot of the pattern on the left side of the card, so I don't think you really notice it all that much. And there are several different ways to kind of cover that seam. If you're using the 6 by 6 inch papers for a slimline card, there are several different ways to make that work. I'm going to add a small, like a thin strip of cardstock on the top and bottom of my little sentiment piece there, just because it's sitting on top of that orange strip and I didn't want it to kind of droop on the top and bottom. So I'm just using a little bit of art glitter glue to add those pieces on to the top and bottom of my sentiment strip, and then I can glue that whole piece down onto my card. And if you would like to play along with the sketch challenge, you can head on over to the Scrapping for Less Show and Share Facebook group, and you can get some more information about the challenge there. So once everything is on the card, I decided it needed just a little bit something else. So I pulled out some orange enamel dots from a previous Scrapping for Less kit and just finished off my card. Hope you guys enjoyed my card and inspiration today, and I hope you're all having a very crafty day.